Well, good evening, everybody. I'd like to thank the organizers, Sister and Professor Sitaraman in particular, for inviting me to participate in this conference. I'm very happy that such a large conference has been organized on this important subject. In fact, I also head at IIMB Center of Excellence on Urban Governance. And we all are trying to grapple with the magnitude of the problem that we have with respect to urban areas. So in that context, it's definitely a welcome step, and we should all try to see how best we can take these conferences forward. What I'm going to do in this particular session is to share an idea or two that I have with respect to urban planning. I'm not an urban planner. In fact, my education or even by my research, I'm not an urban planner. This is more of a more commonsensical view of how what can be done. Of course, not a comprehensive urban planning solution, but what can be done with respect to urban planning, so that we could probably do a little better than what we have been doing. One of the things that we observe today is our cities are becoming larger and larger. If you look at Karnataka itself, Bangalore has almost 6 times the population of the next city, which is Hubli Dharwad. And about 30% of the total population, urban population in Karnataka are in Bangalore. So Bangalore is really growing at a very fast pace. And therefore, we see a number of problems that are associated with it. We have problems of governance itself. We keep changing the wards and number of wards, and now we have reached about 198 councillors in the city council. But again, with the large number of political representatives, we don't have a good mechanism by which we can actually make all of them think about city, as well as how to make it effective governance. And with that, we have problems of planning itself. Without effective governance, we have problems of planning. And planning, governance, they go hand in hand. And because of that, we have innumerable problems of infrastructure, problems of managing large system, maintaining large system. We have thousands of miles of sewage lines in Bangalore city, as well as the water supply. So if you looked at Bangalore growth, 1995 or so, this is what we would see, and later on, by 2000, in the process in this decade of 1995 to 2005, we have seen considerable growth that has been taking place. Of course, even after also we see a significant, land conversion that's happening around Bangalore. And because of that, we see that every time we keep increasing the size of the city. So it used to be earlier about 220 square kilometers. It has increased to about 711, and with now the master plan, the comprehensive development plan, we have as much as about 12,019. In fact, if you include the BMICP area, which is the Bangalore-Mysore Infrastructure Corridor Planning Area, that comes to about 1,300 plus square kilometers of area. So with this, we, in fact, people have thought of putting a limit to this city's growth. And therefore, this green area was created. So surrounding the city, you can see the green area has been marked, and essentially saying that you cannot convert these agricultural land to other purposes, either commercial or industrial purposes and so on. But if you look at the real picture, we can already see, it's actually there in the map itself. We can actually see some of it is being already converted. Even in the green area, we see there are areas, there are newer residential complexes coming in. The agricultural land has been converted into other purposes. That means, very soon we see this green area is also vanishing. Okay. So as this green area is vanishing, we could see that, this size of the city, the area of the city will keep increasing. We have all these, newer method of legalizing illegal things, whether it is akrama, sakrama, and so on. So when we find that things have already happened, we will try to legalize that, and in that process, we would see that these boundaries are pushed outwards and outwards. And so in the process, what we have here is very ineffective regional planning, and because of this ineffective regional planning, we have this unplanned growth, urban sprawl being created. And because of this urban sprawl, we have problems in city planning and operational planning of the city. Okay? And that further leads to urban sprawl. And this vicious cycle continues, and it creates problems definitely of unsustainability in the long run. And we already have now major problems coming up with respect to urban services, whether it is water, sanitation, power, transport, poor quality of life because of a lot of uncertainties with respect to whether you get water or not, power or not, transportation, and so on. There will be higher cost, and also the urban poverty will increase. And one indication of that is with respect to water. In the previous session, we had speakers talking about this particular aspect of water. And if you look at water supply earlier, Bangalore used to get water from nearby areas, and now most of the water is from the Krishnaraj Sagar Dam, which is about 100 kilometers from here, and which is actually lifted about half a kilometer height, and that is what the major consumption of energy requirement in the city is. And even with all the various stages of Kaveri water, bringing Kaveri water here, we still have problems in meeting the gap. The gap is to the extent of as much as about 45%, the demand and consumption gap. And of course, a lot of it is also due to unaccounted water, because we are now unable to manage large systems, and because of that, there is a loss in revenue. And because of the loss in revenue, they are not, the return of investment is low. And because of that, again, the private sector would not come in and invest, or even for the government to go and borrow and invest it, it would be difficult because of this unaccounted water. In fact, water consumed is per capita consumption, if you look at it, is less than what is actually prescribed, and especially in the case of poor, it's much less than the very basic needs of water consumption. And these problems are not going to be resolved. In fact, these problems are going to accentuate in the coming years, and that's where it's going to be quite unmanageable in the future. So therefore, what we say is, because of the unplanned growth, you have high infrastructure cost, high cost of services, like as cities grow larger and larger, you need to pump in more and more water from somewhere else, bring power and so on, and these will come at a higher cost, and because of that, services will also become expensive. And as they happen, this would lead to higher cost of setting up of plants and investment opportunities would be reduced because of the costs are higher. So as investments go down, the economic opportunity for people are going to be less, which means that there is going to be less employment possibilities, and therefore there would be more urban poverty. And this cycle, the vicious cycle would continue, and that would be unsustainable in the long run. So some of these problems can be directly attributed to the planning process. If you look at Bangalore, we don't have a metropolitan planning committee yet, though it has been said that it has to be set up, according to 74th Amendment and so on, but we don't have one so far. And our planning processes also take too long time. The previous comprehensive development plan from 2003 to 2007. There are no definite processes in terms of how exactly one should go about in really coming up with the final plan. And also the prioritization, where is our priorities with respect to land uses and so on, that's also not very clearly laid out. And therefore, we also see that there is no adherence to current plans, even if we set the green belts and so on. Again, you see these land being converted and so on. So there is no adherence to the planning that we have done, and mainly a lot of it is due to political factors. So therefore, we have these kinds of problems on one hand, and also there are other problems like problems of managing large systems. Natural resource availability is going to be difficult. Even the water, Kaveri water, we may not be able to get more and more water from Kaveri River. Even Maundya people will, I'm sure, they will start objecting to it. Our inability to coordinate with various agencies within the government itself is very poor. We really aspire for a participatory governance, but we don't have a proper way of really taking people or making people participate effectively in the governance. There is also this factor, NIMBY, not in my backyard, whether it is the garbage disposal, sanitation, and so on. These are some of the issues that are coming up in terms of effectiveness of city management. So in this context, what I would like to suggest is, well, some of these suggestions that one could come up with is more simpler in the sense that, MPC should be set up, and therefore, make these MPC to look at the planning process, come up with, proper plans regularly and so on. Apart from that, I think we also should have two other things. One, of course, approach is you also need to make other places more attractive in terms of infrastructure, road, rail, water, housing, transportation, and so on. In many places, we do see a transportation grid being created. So similarly, if let's say Karnataka state has a proper transportation grid, that would help in taking away the pressure on on Bangalore's growth. Similarly, create other social infrastructure like health, education, information highways, and so on, so that we will be able to reduce the attractiveness of Bangalore to some extent.